Everybody, welcome to our last commission meeting of the year. If you would, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alrighty, first item this afternoon is to consider the minutes of the December 9th meeting.
I so move we approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
No.
Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. And motion carries. Alrighty, next item are tax abatements. Avcon Industries and Full Vision. Chris?
Yeah, I can take the lead on this. Thank you, Mayor. These are tax abatement projects independent of an IRB process. This is the constitutional tax abatement that's afforded by the Kansas Constitution, whereby a city can grant property tax abatement. We'll go over two of them. The first one is Avcon. I don't believe there's any representatives from Avcon, although we do have a team from EDC if they want to speak to it. Avcon, as you recall, this is their purchase of the Mennonite Press building at the Newton City County Airport. We entered into a development agreement where they were going to do certain improvements and equip the facility. This is a tiered tax abatement over 3 years, and it should be noted that the tax abatement is for the increment, so the increased valuation, not the entire valuation. And the 3 years spreads out as 75% abatement in the first year, 50% in the second, and 25% in the third. We verified that they've done their part pursuant to the development agreement. We would ask you to hold a public hearing on this item and then consider an ordinance to grant tax abatement to Avcon Industries.
All righty. At this time, we will go ahead and open the public meeting. Is there anybody here that would like to have a comment on this? All right, I declare the public hearing closed, and we'll bring the discussion back to the bench. Commissioners, anything?
What's the ordinance number?
It would be 5190-25.
I move we approve 5190-25.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Same sign. That motion carries. Chris?
Now, a similar process for Full Vision, and for Full Vision, we do have Doug that may speak here in a moment. I'll just tee it up, but similar to Avcon, we entered into, the city approved a resolution of intent to grant tax abatement to Full Vision back in 2022. It's been extended a couple times to this hearing. It's approximately 30,000 square foot facility with a cost roughly $6.5 million, anticipated to create 15 new jobs. This is not a tiered abatement. This is a full abatement of 10-year, 100%. And with that, I would open it up to Doug if he wants to address the City Commission before conducting a public hearing. Go ahead.
Sure. Yeah. Hey, thanks for allowing me to come speak. Quite a few of you are out there for our ribbon cutting, and we've done groundbreaking. So it's been quite a process to finally get there. But yeah, we're up and running. Things are going well. Big investment in a new system. And so initially we hired 3 to 5 people to start running it, training it, and learning. And so we're ready to really launch here moving into 2026. So the new project kind of differentiates us from competition. And so we're able to really expand our business and our business growth. So we got a pretty aggressive 5-year business plan put together. Actually, I have a board meeting today. But so anyway, we're planning on growing and bringing some significant new jobs that we would not been able to produce and enter into those markets without the investment. So I want to thank the commissioners and the community for the support up to this point. And so, yeah, we're off and running. It's live. It's real. And it's more than just a vision. So anyway, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's more than a vision. It's a full vision.
There you
It's
go.
a full vision.
And we thank you for the partnership. This is the kind of partnership that we thrive with.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Awesome. Well, at this time, I'll go ahead and open the public hearing on this item. Is there anybody that cares to speak on this item? Hearing none, I declare the public hearing closed and bring that discussion back to the bench. Commissioners?
I move that we approve the ordinance granting tax abatement to Full Vision.
Ordinance number?
5191-25.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next item today is to consider a request to waive fees for New Jerusalem's roofing project. Who's going to,
Is there anybody here?
is anybody here? If you would.
Hi, I'm Carrie. I'm our administrator. So we've been working with GAF and our roofer, Stanfield Roofing, and we are ready to get finished with our,
Can you pull the mic down?
sorry.
No worries.
Yeah, so we're ready to get started on finishing the roof, and so we're just asking if we could have the fees waived for that, for the permit.
So commissioners, there was an email that was sent to the city commission via our clerk. Any discussion?
I have some questions.
You can go ahead.
Are there any challenges for you financially to pay this, or?
Yeah, we are completely privately funded 501c3. Yeah, so we don't have any, like, we don't have a lot of money.
Right. Well,
So,
I mean, we've
yeah.
got a lot. It's not a standard request. This, I have a saying, and it's often used against me, is you don't get what you don't ask for. So kudos for making the request.
Right.
The request is a little abnormal in the sense, or different from those situations where this body has waived fees, because typically waiving of the fees is paired with new development, new jobs, new
Right.
investment in the community, and not improvements or repairs. So it's a little left of center on its request. I would be very. I don't want to set a precedence for
Right.
something like this, so I'm a little apprehensive. I'd encourage or request any feedback from my fellow commissioners on this one.
I share the same concern, setting a precedent for future groups to come of any kind. I mean, to be asking for that, and that's one thing I'd like to see us guard against.
Okay.
Not that I don't mistake it as I don't care, but have to think about that possibly coming up again then with other groups. And so that's where.
I mean, our households have the same constriction, same
Yeah,
burdens to try and work through and everything. I'm just wondering, is there any additional plea window that you can go to your supporters, or ask from this body to the community to try and help get you over the hump
Right.
on this? I don't believe that it's actually this body or this commission's thing to do for you, but I can make the ask to the community that if anybody sees it in their heart to help get you over that
Yeah, that would be great.
fundraising threshold so that you can move forward with your roof, I'd make that ask.
I think it's important to acknowledge that we affirm your mission.
Thank you.
You have a fabulous mission there. It's needed, it's necessary, it provides. But as has been stated, we do this time.
Oh, I
The
understand, yeah.
people that are going to line up to ask for the same thing, and we haven't done it in the past, so to speak, under, I mean, it's under different conditions that we do that, so. But your mission is absolutely needed in this community.
Thank you.
Do you have any assistance with fundraising?
We do, we are working on getting some grants. What we do is we do a couple little fundraisers throughout the year, but everything is just all privately funded, supported from individuals and companies, yeah.
Okay.
And like GAF has donated all the materials.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah,
That's
and
great.
our roofer, Stanfield Roofing, has given us a really good deal on the roofing project, so. Mhm.
Amen.
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Good to-
I've got a question on that. So permit fees are based off of the cost of the project?
Correct, yeah.
If the materials are donated, would the cost of the project not be less?
Chris, maybe you could help me here, but I think it still looks at the overall cost. Like,
Yeah.
regardless if it's donated or not, this is the fee structure.
Based on the valuation. That's my gut, but I would have to
market.
verify that to say for sure.
Market
I'd be-
value.
If it says market value,
I
then
mean,
yeah.
I think that was how it's interpreted.
Right, so I'm just curious, I mean,
We can circle back with a full
Sure.
confirmation on
Yep.
that.
it could be a way to maybe drastically reduce it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, have we, I don't remember a time that we've dealt with that.
Right,
Market value as opposed to donated, and then that brings the real cost down to X. Yeah, check that out. That would be good.
we don't need an answer today, but, cool.
Was it stated publicly what the amount is? I did,
What's the,
875 approximately, just for the public record, is what you're seeking.
Yes.
Yeah.
874.59, yeah.
right, and this is for the roof, but you also have future projects that you're going to
Correct.
be pursuing as well. So
Yes.
that's the peeling that onion.
Right,
That's
I
the other
understand, yeah.
other layer there and everything. As Commissioner Kane stated very well, I don't think there's anybody in this room that doesn't support the mission and values the
Yeah, we
work that you
appreciate
guys
that. We
do and
appreciate
provide
that.
our community and everything. So. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Next item today is Sand Creek Station 5th Edition improvements. Ed?
Thank you, Commissioners. You might recall, I think several of you were on the commission. In 2023, the plat for Sand Creek Fifth was approved. That project, originally, they pursued, the developers pursued an RHID. He paused the project for some other reasons as far as funding goes, but it's come back, and at this point, they are requesting to do it under the petition process. There's 71 lots in this edition. The price point will be $380,000 to $400,000 per unit. And the improvements would all be bore 100% by the benefit district. So what I'm recommending for the commission is to just approve the items that are outlined on the agenda. I believe we have to go through each one of them, A through H, individually for approval.
So our.
Okay, first we need to receive the petitions, as
Yes.
that would be the first motion. So I call for a motion to receive the petitions for water, sewer, stormwater, and streets to serve Sand Creek Station 5th Edition.
I move that we do that.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
that.
I see.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Same sign. That motion carries. All right. Next would be resolution number,
Yes, it would be I-1218.
Okay.
I'd call for a motion to consider resolution I-1218, authorizing water improvement to serve Sand Creek Station 5th Edition.
I so move.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Motion carries. I-1219.
No, we need an ordinance now.
Yep. See, look
Sorry.
at me.
That would be ordinance 5192-25.
Alrighty.
I move we approve 5192-25.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Same sign. Motion carries. All righty. Now, resolution,
I-1219.
see, I'm gun shy. I'm not going to make it up this time. I'd call for their motion for a resolution of authorizing sewer improvement, Sand Creek Station, 5th edition, I-1219.
I move we approve.
We have a motion
I second.
and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Same sign. Motion carries.
5193-25.
I move we approve 519325.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Motion carries. Resolution.
I-1220.
Call for a motion.
I move we approve I-1220.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Motion carries.
And I-1221.
All righty. Call for a motion for resolution I-1221 for street improvement for Sand Creek 5th edition.
So move.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I have a quick question.
Sure.
Does this development include sidewalks? Is that a later step or?
It'll be part of the design,
Okay.
but our development guidelines say
It does now,
they
right?
will,
Okay.
yeah. So.
All righty. Good question. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Same sign. Motion carries. All righty. And then the engineering agreement portion? Do you have any topic on that, or?
No, just MKC was a engineer and a consultant that did this the first go around, so they kind of already have the history and the background, and that's who the developer's working with, so we're fine with that.
Can you remind me the name of the developer? It's been a while.
Is it Gilbert? I think it might be Gilbert.
Well, that was on,
Gilbert Properties?
I think it's Gilbert Properties, but
Yeah.
yeah, the name of the guy, I don't think that was it, but that's
oh,
okay. He's
sorry.
not-
I've been working with MKC, not so much the developer. Yeah.
I had a brain cramp. Okay. So we just need a motion to consider an engineering agreement with MKEC for the improvements.
Yes, sir.
And call for that motion.
I move that we do that. Consider the engineering agreement with MKEC.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next item today is to consider a resolution authorizing bonds for HVAC replacement at Fire Station 2, NRC, and City Hall.
Good morning, Commission.
Good morning.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Well, thanks for letting me come up in front of you, and happy holidays to all of you. From the November 23rd, 2025 City Commission meeting, it was requested the debt schedule for the GO bond issuance of this HVAC project, along with the impact to the cash flow of the infrastructure project funded with sales tax dollars. In your packet, you'll find the debt schedule that was provided to us by Baker Tilly, the city's financial advisor. And along that, a 20-year debt schedule. The average annual payment is a little over $119,000. Also in your packet is the estimated cash flow of the infrastructure and economic development projects funded by that county sales tax. In this fund, the cash flow projects total revenues from 2025 to be around $34.4 million, which that revenue is made up of $30.7 million of sales tax revenue and 3.7 million, which is made up of land sales. The expenditure total is around 30.4 million, leaving an estimating cash balance at the end of 2025 at about $4 million. And then projecting forward from 2026 through around 2042, I've used a very conservative estimate for revenues, which is the sales tax, right about 1.9 million annually. And based on this estimate, the grand total of receipts from 2007, which was the beginning of that sales tax, through 2042, the total is around 67.1 million. The expenditure projection, which includes the HVAC GEO bond issuance debt schedule that we've talked about, is 59.4 million, leaving a projected ending cash balance in 2042 in this fund of $7.8 million. Are there any questions or comments on that projected cash flow?
Just thank you for breaking that out.
Yeah, thank you for putting that together.
So if there's not any further questions, then we'll ask for a consideration of that bonding resolution for the HVAC project, which the resolution should be in your packet as well.
The resolution number?
Okay. I-1222.
I move we approve I-1222.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
I was looking at something, I wrote something down wrong. I agree.
All right.
Sorry.
So you got 5 ayes. Any opposed? The motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. All righty. Next item is to receive. Oh,
Number 6.
oh, there it is. I got ahead of myself. Alrighty, number 6, consider an agreement between the city, KDOT, and GFT Infrastructure for the design work related to reconstruction of K-15 11th to 13th Street. Ed?
Thank you, Commissioners. If you recall, in April of this past year, we signed the grant agreement to have this work done on K-15. As part of this grant, it's a little bit different from the ones we've used in the past. KDOT has a little more management of the agreement, and so there's some things that we'll have to do to move forward with this, and one of these is to sign a 3-party agreement between the city, the consultant who is GBT, used to be, I forget their name all the time, Terracon maybe. Anyways, they've been bought out, and then it's between the city, the consultant, and KDOT for design of the project. Once the design's complete, I will then bring back another request 3-party form for the commission to approve that would be between the city, the contractor, and KDOT. And so this is just kind of a housekeeping thing, a requirement for the monies of the grant. And so I just asked the commission would approve and sign this 3-party agreement for the design of K-15 from 11th to 13th, and including all of the 12th Street and main intersection.
Just to clarify and confirm that 90% is,
Yes, it's a 90-10 split. Anything, the city would pay for the 10% up to 1.2 million, and then that would be bonded and paid through general funds, the 10%.
10% of the 1.2 or 10?
Up to, so 90-10 up to 1.2. Anything over 1.2, we're responsible for 100%.
Okay. 10% of that 1.2?
Correct, yes.
And anything over?
And anything over,
1.2.
yes, correct.
Okay, that's the clarification I was looking for.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you.
So the city's portion is 120,000 unless it goes above, and then it's everything above.
Yes, that's correct.
Just for my benefit, what is the extent of this work going to be? Like, how far down is it going to be taken? And
So it'll be a mill and overlay. Design will kind of look at it and determine, there'll be some full depth patching
okay,
that we'll go through and make sure all that's done. It'll be very similar to what we've done prior to from 11th South back to where we started about 3 years ago. We just kind of been doing segments.
Is there an engineer's estimate on this?
Not at this point. This is just we have to sign the design so that then the engineers can design it and provide us with the estimate.
Kind of an order of operations thing?
Correct, yes.
Do you have any gut level ballpark based on other projects?
It's hard to say because it's KDOT run, and there's some more rules that have to be followed with KDOT. I think it will, if I'm being honest, I think it'll probably be higher than what we've done in the past, just because we don't have as much control over the bidding process because of KDOT's involvement in it. So I would hate to put a number out there and be completely wrong, but I do believe it'll probably be higher than what we've done in the past.
Well, we certainly don't want to shut the door on a 90% offer.
Right.
No.
These C-CLIP projects have been good to this community to get these projects done, so.
They really have.
All righty.
Okay.
So we just need a simple motion to consider the agreement.
I move.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Oh, you're not done. Next item, receive and approve water tower design concepts.
Sure. So, Erin I may drag Erin into this conversation a little bit too, because she did help a lot with this. So PEC is the consultant that we hired as part of this project to build the tanks at First Street and then paint and do some maintenance work to these two spheroid tanks that we have here in town. Now that the First Street tanks are operational and working, we're moving on to the next level of this project, which is the painting and some maintenance work that's done to the Spencer Tower and the tower at 17th Street. So historically, the water towers have always featured a city logo. In 2010, we kind of deviated from that. When we did 12th Street, it featured some artwork by Phil Epp that didn't have, and it had the name and without the logo. The plan in the future was to consider the NMC, the Highway 50 Hospital Tower, to have more of that kind of art piece of it. But then the rest of the two spheroid towers, we consider just logos. That being said, when we adopted the city flag design in 2020, we heard a lot of good things about it, and people would like to include that in some things. So we've done that throughout town. I think we've got some entry signs that have the city flag. It's on our parks areas and stuff of that nature. So with that being said, we picked, after much discussion, we kind of picked a city logo for one tower and then the city flag for the other tower. So you can see on the screen up here, this would be the Spencer Tower, and it would include the city logo. So if you imagine east and west visual, like you're going down the interstate, you would see the full logo. So the east-west look would see the city of Newton. And then if you're looking at it from north-south, you're just going to see a portion of each side of that logo. And so that was kind of what we picked for the Spencer Tower. And then the 17th Street Tower, this is a little difficult. You kind of have to use your imagination a little bit because we didn't have a good photograph looking at it from 12th Street. But if you're looking at it from 12th Street, the first picture where you see the flag and the wheat, the kind of the railroad tracks and the wheat there, that's what you would see from the high school. So from a north-south viewpoint, you would see the flag. And then from the east-west viewpoint, like if you're on 17th Street, you would see Newton with the bars above and below it. So these were the two logos that we kind of wanted to present and get some approval and move forward from there.
I like them. I do.
I do too.
When I first,
Aaron, you can add if you want to add anything to that.
Yeah.
I was going to say that when I first saw these, I visually I couldn't. They stood out to me. Then I was biking home and then walking my dog, and then I suddenly saw it everywhere. So then I realized I just hadn't paid attention. I think they look great.
Yeah,
Job.
I think they're pretty awesome. The use of the community logo or the flag over by the high school kind of supports the railers and gets that across. So that's pretty cool. I originally got a little too deep in the weeds with the colors don't match between the two different towers and all that. And I said, just stay in your lane, Rich. Stay in your lane. I think they'll look great. So.
I do.
So,
I also like, not that you're asking me, but I like that you're doing things differently because they're going to keep changing things are going to, I think that's a smart way to.
the interesting part that came up in our discussions, because Ed got some emails from me and such, was the need to keep it as part of the city and not commercial for fear of losing.
Some tax, so there's tax implication,
Implications.
that word.
Yeah.
That if it's used for advertisement,
Right.
then we're not tax exempt for certain things. So we have to be super careful in what we pick. Not that we can't do some small things here or there, but I would want that certainly to be looked at by legal and make sure that we're all on the up and up, because if we use it as advertisement, then it changes kind of what our taxing authority is for water, like if we had to replace a pipe or something in it, so.
I just kind of wanted to bubble that up because that kind of goes to all the work that staff does in the background, making sure things, I's are dotted and T's are crossed and everything. So thanks for that.
I like these because they look like they're, for lack of better words, neighborhood appropriate. In other words, they really magnify the neighborhood where they're at, where this is at 17th. And then the one out on Spencer, that's like introductory to the community. You see it from the highway, it's introducing.
Sure.
So I like them, they're good. Thank you for the work.
Cool. So you just need,
Yeah, a motion to receive and approve the design concepts.
I move.
all right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same side. Motion carries. All righty.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item is a commission appointment to the land bank. So, you want,
Yeah. Because Rod is no longer on the commission, part of the bylaws state that there has to be a commissioner on the land bank. So amongst yourselves, you can pick. That appointment is every year we appoint that. So it's a one-year commitment. They meet quarterly, I believe,
And as needed.
or as needed, yeah.
Okay. Can I make a?
yeah, you may.
Well, I was going to suggest that we appoint Leroy to the land bank.
Are you up for that, Leroy?
I am.
Thank you, sir. Commissioners, any other discussion?
No, I'd agree.
We'll make that appointment.
Is that it?
Awesome. That was easy. All righty. Next item is to conduct the first reading of an ordinance amending the city code to provide an updated process for prosecuting business entities for environmental code violations. Chris?
Sure. Thanks, Mayor. This is a first read of an ordinance. We're not looking for an approval, but more, I guess, feedback questions taken under advisement. The City Commission has prioritized code enforcement. City staff has looked at certain options. This isn't a silver bullet by any means, but it is one tool that can be used by staff in enforcing our environmental code. specific to business entities. Typically, if someone has a code enforcement case, they're noticed up, multiple rounds of notice. Eventually, it comes to court. If they don't participate by coming to court, the judge can issue kind of a final warning before issuing a bench warrant, which is kind of a last resort if someone's ignoring the process. That can get frustrated with if an LLC owns a property, we're not going to necessarily hold the business owner or registered agent responsible. It's the legal entity that owns the property. So that can frustrate the process in terms of bringing cases forward. This ordinance is based on something they've done in Topeka, I believe, for a couple years now, and essentially provides a default judgment type route when the property is owned by a business entity. So we'd still do our normal notice provisions. We would give them then a final notice to the registered agent. And if the registered agent or somebody doesn't show, then the city can go forward with essentially a trial on facts and get a stipulated judgment for fines and fees only. Obviously, jail time wouldn't be appropriate there. And then we would be able to go attempt to enforce that judgment against the entity. So that's the concept. And I would stand for any questions. Staff would as well. Again, not looking for an approval here. We're going to go through it again, and we can amend to the next round, but I would stand for any questions on it.
Have you had any feedback from anybody since this landed on the agenda? Anybody call in pro, con, or anything?
I haven't. I mean, we've had some conversations on the staff level, but I haven't had any interactions with anyone from the public on it.
I mean, the intent is purely compliance. We'd rather have compliance than anything.
Exactly. We're not trying to get necessarily a default fine, but that is, I guess, our recourse if someone's not going to participate. I mean, today we had a special call docket because there's no docket on Thursday, and for those code enforcement cases, I'm handling the prosecution right now, and again, it's compliance. What can we do to get into compliance? That's what we're going for.
Right, and barring compliance, the city still would need to be made whole for the effort that it takes to remediate.
Right, and that's the whole, I mean, we can always get an administrative order to actually do the work, but obviously there are costs associated with just, Jerry on the front end and Laura and all the work that Ed's staff does on those, and then when it gets to the law department, it is intensive in terms of time on a lot of these properties, for sure.
I'd be curious to hear Topeka's outcomes, if they've done it for a few years, or where are they landing on that?
I did speak to the attorney that kind of takes the lead, and she said it's worked well. I don't think overselling it in terms of it solved all their problems, obviously, but nothing negative about it, and that it's been pretty well received.
A tool in the toolbox
Exactly.
is really all it is.
Exactly.
It's a lot of reading. You go cross-eyed reading it, but I appreciate it.
For sure.
Commissioner?
We can talk about it again in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I'd like to go back over it.
Yeah,
And
for
this
sure.
is just really in relation to businesses. We still haven't worked on, or we need to work on residential.
Right, and we still are working on residential, but I know definitely
know-
additional steps and those things, and we will. Yeah, this is specific to
Okay.
businesses owning properties, correct?
Okay, thank you.
Can you give me a more concrete example of what you're allowed to do now and what this would give you additional
Sure.
ability to do?
So, I mean, if you think about two residential properties, both are in violation of code, right? We send out our notices. One's owned by an individual. They don't come to court. We send them multiple notices. We send them a criminal complaint. They ignore that. The judge sends them a show cause warrant or show cause to come to court. They still don't come. The city court can issue a bench warrant for their arrest. They can then be arrested for failing to just respond to the court summons. For a business, if the second property is owned by an LLC, we can send those notices. Oftentimes they will participate. They will come in, they will, hey, this person's my property manager, they'll take care of it, and we go through those. Sometimes they just don't respond. So there's no bench warrant at the end of it. We're not going to issue a bench warrant in that scenario.
You can't, or it just doesn't
Well,
work?
it's not, you have, in terms of how a business would be structured,
Yeah.
I think, I mean, and there's not, in certain scenarios, we have prosecuted, say, a tenant, if it's like a tenant problem, not necessarily a business owner or the property owner. So there are certain exceptions, But generally, we are not going to go after someone in their individual capacity, barring certain other facts. If we know they're tied to the property and they've come before, then we can make a decision to go after them. But in a vacuum, if the entity owns it, we're prosecuting the entity.
Okay.
Does that
Yeah,
solve
and
it?
then this would add the ability to,
To now take it a
start-
step further and have a default judgment essentially on that property if no one participates. Only for fines, obviously not for jail. We won't do that in the criminal context typically. If someone does not show up for a code enforcement case, the judge isn't going to have a trial without the defendant there. But here with this mechanism to go forward, only going for fines and showing the additional notice to the registered agent, that's the concept.
does this apply to like family trusts and?
Family
other
trust
sorts
would be, we really don't see that as often. Typically, it's LLCs for residential properties would be probably a majority, but we have had properties that have owned by different trusts as well. I think that's a small percentage of what we deal with code.
Well, it's all good discussion and everything, and again, this is a first read, so I'm sure we'll all have some questions bubble up. Some or all of us may end up hearing from somebody at some point. Anything else? Thank you, Chris. All righty. Next item today is Planning Commission, to receive a recommendation from Planning Commission for a zoning amendment. Who's gonna?
I can tee this one up there. It was a late addition, should have been on there last week. This is a zoning change. The city is the owner applicant. This is property that's about 15 acres located just north of GAF. The city's the owner, currently zoned I2. We're asking for an I3. Went before the Planning Commission on December 1st. They approved it unanimously. City is actively marketing this property, and the feedback we've gotten on it specifically is that it would be more marketable as an I3 property. So we're asking for that change to an I3. I would stand for any questions, as would staff. We've had a lot of changes in I2 to I3 in this area of town.
Yeah, everything south of 12th is I3. Big space on to the east is I3 already. You have a ordinance number. Oh, first we need to receive the recommendation and call for a motion.
I move that we receive the recommendation from the Planning Commission.
I second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Motion carries.
Ordinance number would be 5194-25.
I move that we approve ordinance number 5194-25.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Motion carries. All righty.
Okay.
All right. Next item is citizens forum, and I think Lynn is here.
Who?
Lynn. Lynn Beth.
Oh,
I didn't see her either.
I think she sneaked in. Did you sneak in? Oh, Lynn. I did, yeah, it's kind of.
So, good afternoon. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Lynn Beth, the director at Newton Senior Center. And I would like to give some further clarification on this morning's article in the Newton Kansan about the nutrition program at the center. It says that there's changes that are coming to the program, but at this point right now, there is jeopardy of losing the program altogether. Our current food providers contract with CPAAA, which is Central Plains Area Agency on Aging, ends on December 31st. They currently provide a hot meal daily, along with supervision of that food's distribution. Each site served has a site manager to oversee the program. Our nutrition program is federally subsidized and meets federal guidelines for nutrition value as well as state and federal food safety guidelines. The site manager made sure all these requirements were met, along with overseeing the volunteers and distribution of the food. They were responsible for handling all the paperwork required for a program that's federally receiving federal dollars. Now that the contractor with this provider has been terminated, CPAAA is asking that the individual sites take over this responsibility. This is not a responsibility that can go to a volunteer. It would need to be managed by the center director, which is myself, or a hired staff person. CPAAA has offered a $5,000 stipend to help offset the cost of hiring a site manager. At $12 an hour, we would need at least $10,000 to be able to hire someone. For myself as the director to take on this responsibility would mean 3 hours out of my day to run the program. Since the senior center is growing all the time, some weeks I am already working 40+ hours, and I'm actually only getting paid for 30. I'm a Medicare counselor, and handling both during open enrollment would be impossible to do. We are hoping that with the additional money that the commission granted us this year, we will be able to have 6 fundraisers this year instead of the 12 we had to hold last year. And we had the roof put on last week, thanks to GAF and their contribution of materials. So now at least we don't have a leaky roof. For the center to take on the additional $5,000 to hire a site manager, we would have to go back to the 12 fundraisers a year, which is a lot of work. For many of the over 4,000 people we serve yearly, this is their only means of socialization. We only have 3 people a day who are unable to pay the asking donation price of $5 for their meal, and all of that money is turned back to CPAAA. So for this particular program is mainly for the socialization. For example, we have a couple that come that one is the caregiver for the other. This gives them both the opportunity to have conversation with someone else and give the caregiver a meal that they do not need to prepare. So at this point, our nutrition program is in jeopardy of closing in the near future. Grant programs do not allow for funding to be used for these salaries. We have approached the Harvey County Commission. Harvey County is the only county, Sedgwick, Butler, and Harvey County. Harvey County is the only one that does not have any funding for nutrition within Harvey County. So we've approached them for the additional $5,000 needed to hire a site manager. They have asked us to approach our cities for $2,500 matching funds. I would like to make a formal presentation during the January 13th meeting. My only reason for being here today, like I said, was to piggyback on the article that was in this morning's paper and just give some clarification before it got too old. And so I'd like to see whether you have questions that you would like me to have answers for at the January 13th presentation. And if so, you can ask at this time. And then I would, like I said, make the formal presentation on the 13th. We still need some clarification from the county. They have not totally committed to the $2,500. They would just like us to ask our cities. The other senior centers in Harvey County would be Heston and Sedgwick. Both of them receive nutrition money from their cities to help with the nutrition program as it is. And they also receive it through a grant kind of fund that doesn't allow them to pay for salaries. It's just used for nutrition. And that's the problem with going to get money from other grant programs, is they don't allow it for salaries. So if anybody has any questions, I'd welcome them, and then, like I said, make the formal presentation in January's meeting as an agenda item once we get further clarification from the county.
So you're thinking your annual expense for that program would be 10,000, and you got a 5,000 grant from CAAA?
That's correct, yes. We've already been, as centers, we've already approached CPAAA saying we can't hire a site manager for $5,000. And I think that they're unrealistic in looking at what directors can do. It's just, I'm the only person there as a full-time person. And so, like I said, to add that to my already responsibilities, it's just, because you need to be in the kitchen for those 3 hours. I can't be at the center, I need to be in the kitchen. And so that makes it really difficult to take that time out, because you have to temp the food. I mean, there's all kinds of regulations for the state and federal.
And is that daily, or is that once a week?
That's daily. That's daily.
Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday, yes.
And so you're in the kitchen, that's the part back behind the stage,
That's correct.
so you're not actually preparing the meals,
No, the meals are prepared by, they're going to be prepared by a group called Trio, and all they do is food preparation. The last contractor did food preparation and administration of the program. So that's, the administration part is what's coming back to the centers.
Did CAAA compete this contract to other people, and they selected this firm, or why that change?
Because I think what, we've not got an honest answer from CPAAA, and that's something that we're also working on, so I have firm facts when I present January. But the centers feel that what the problem was is that they were paying too much money because they paid all those administration costs, and they just felt that that administration could be done by the centers.
So is there another entity besides CAAA that you could go to? I mean, the solution needs to be the stopgap of how to keep the program going in the short term, but then to see how it can maybe change and be better in the long term.
Yeah, see, some of the other centers, not ours, but some of the other centers have industrial kitchens that they can also meet state and federal regulations for. We do not. And the Halstead did move away from the program and started one on their own, and then they just couldn't keep it viable because of cost of food and getting grant money. It just didn't work. So we, as a center, during the month of January, because CPAAA doesn't have their act together yet to get food trusts starting January 5th, we'll be doing, they're going to provide frozen meals, which totally deletes the purpose of having a socialization environment. So we're going to have like a coffee clatch kind of thing and offer beverages and some snacks or whatever for people coming to pick up their food. But it's not an ideal socialization environment. And that's the key. These people, the people that we service at the center live on their own, in their own homes. So this is the socialization part that they get from coming to the center and sitting down and having a meal and socializing with your friends. So if there are specific questions that you have that you would like me to bring information for the January meeting, it would be helpful to me to know what that might be, so I would be prepared.
Well, I didn't read the article yet, so.
Oh, okay.
I did read it.
Well, there was, like I said, it just, the article, no reflection on the article, but it just made it sound like we were just changing providers. But the clarification is that it's much more than just changing providers.
Well, at first blush, I would just encourage you to work with other peer directors to try and come up with some sort of a solution. Like I said, the initial solution is to keep it going in the short term, and the better solution is a long-term solution and everything. Reach out to, Healthy Harvey Coalition, any number of resources, and I look forward to seeing an update.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. All righty. Well, with that, we'll go around the horn. You have any comments?
I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, safe travels if you're traveling, and I think that's all I have right now.
Simple and sweet. Daniela? Nothing? Rebecca?
No, sir.
Chris? Ed?
A couple things. So reached out to our building supervisor regarding the permits, the fees. So we do get this question quite a bit, apparently, but it's more based on labor. My labor's free, right? But we still base it on fair market value because there's a valuation associated with that. So I hope does that clear up the question?
No, I mean,
answer the
actually,
question?
that's a simple solution. So what I'm hearing is somebody's going to be doing a re-roof themselves, and they're out of pocket the money for the materials, but they're using their own labor rather than hired labor. The value of the project is the same.
Correct.
Compared to their neighbor that hires the labor.
Correct.
And buys the same materials. So it makes sense on the flip, if the material was donated and the labor was being paid.
Yeah.
You would apply that same rule. So
Correct, yeah.
makes sense.
Then also, you probably saw in some of the publications that Aaron has put out, but I did want to just take a minute and mention we had two employees from our park division who received their certified playground safety certification. It was Joseph Torres and Nate Jansen, so I wanted to recognize them. And then I also would like to recognize our Assistant Superintendent of Water and Water and Wastewater, Doug McFall. He obtained his Class 4 water certification for water treatment. So I think it's good, and I just want to recognize I'm pretty proud of staff that puts forth those efforts and is willing to go that extra mile to get that stuff, so.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. That's great. Sir?
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Last week, I attended the recovery court graduation for Zach Walters, who has, to me, is a sort of a perfect narrative arc of, he talked about sitting in Harvey County Jail for 4 months, looking at 3 felonies, and now he works for Harvey County. And he and Judge Wilder talked about how they're now coworkers rather than the previous sort of arrangement. And I've talked with them a few times, and they said that program sees about 90% of their participants who are Newton residents. And I may push us to recognize that more often. It's a remarkable program. Coming from somebody who, I adopted kids whose mom is a 30-year meth addict. I have a daughter who's a meth addict, and it gives me hope to see people who can change their lives.
Wow, that's excellent. Thank you for sharing. Just Merry Christmas to everyone and Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Like Commissioner Watson said, if you're traveling, please be safe. We want you to come back to us safe